Sometimes in nature, animals defy instinct and form unusual bonds. Meet a two-legged Chihuahua who's best friends with a chicken.
This is amazing.
That looks like nothing you've ever seen before. See a squirrel who uses his best buddy as a hiding spot for his nuts. And join a mountaineer who scales peaks with a unique climbing buddy. Whatever their size, shape, or species, these incredible duos have all become unlikely animal friends. Deep in the heart of Georgia is the peaceful community of Duluth.
Good morning, Rue. Come on, let's go.
Alicia Williams is getting ready to go to work at the local animal hospital.
Come on, Rue.
She always brings along her two-legged Chihuahua, Rue.
Come here. Good morning, Penny.
Rue is very energetic. He's very happy. He's probably the happiest dog I've ever met. He doesn't let anything slow him down. He has no idea that he's different.
And Rue has an unlikely friend who's coming along too. Like Rue, Penny has two legs, except she's a silky chicken.
This is Penny, our 2-year-old silky chicken, and this is Rue, our 1.5-year-old two-legged Chihuahua, and they're best friends.
Penny is no ordinary chicken. Silky chickens get their name from their soft, fluffy appearance, which is due to the lack of barbs in their feathers.
We rescued Penny from a testing facility. She has a great personality. She knows her name. She loves to sit in my lap, and she, of course, loves to cuddle with Rue. Ready to go to work? I usually open up the hospital in the mornings, so Rue and Penny get up in the mornings with me, and they ride together in the same carrier to work.
Alicia works as a receptionist at nearby Duluth Animal Hospital.
Good morning.
Here, Rue and Penny are the stars of the show.
Hi, Precious.
Yeah.
Hi, Rue. Good morning. Good morning, Rue. Here you go.
These best buddies sit center stage at the front of the reception desk, where they garner plenty of attention from visitors and hospital staff.
Oh, look, he's licking his chops.
People at the hospital are always very surprised when they come in for the first time and meet Penny and Rue.
Oh, very precious.
They've usually never seen a chicken that looks like her, and of course, they've never seen a two-legged dog before.
This is amazing.
And they usually just love to interact with them.
Hey, baby. Come here. I gotta get my kisses. Mwah.
For Rue, relying on the kindness of strangers has helped him get on his feet. Literally.
We had this custom wheelchair created for him through a company, and one of our clients actually donated all the money for it. She just came in one day and met him, and right at the spot, she said, you know, I wanna give you the money to do it, and she just handed it over, and we had it created. Rue basically lives his life in his wheelchair. He falls asleep in it, he runs in it, he plays with Penny in it, he loves to turn circles in it. It's the only time he gets to sit up like a real dog, and I think it's good on his back.
The best part about being the unofficial mascots of an animal hospital? Quality health care, courtesy of Dr. Michael Miller.
Come on in. Hello, Mr. Rue.
Rue and Penny are an amazing pair of animals. They've been with us here at the animal hospital for a couple of years now.
Despite his happy demeanor, Rue had a tough road before getting to where he is now.
Rue was kind of a tragic little puppy. He was brought in the middle of winter. He was 7 weeks old, and one of our clients was walking in the park and found the puppy freezing. And he didn't have any limbs in the front, so he had a congenital birth defect. Maybe that's why someone abandoned him. And Alicia was up front, and she said, oh, I'm taking him. This one's mine.
Luckily for Rue, his feathered friend was there to warm him up.
Penny was here that day, and Penny came over and sat down on the puppy. and started to warm him up. And we kind of realized that there was something strange and something pretty wonderful going on. They have been best friends ever since.
For Penny, it was second nature.
Silkie chickens are widely known to be broody. Now, broodiness is a behavioral tendency to sit on a clutch of eggs, and silkies are great at being broody. That's exactly what we saw Penny do with Rue the day she met him.
Following their checkup, it's time for some fun in the sun.
Penny and Ruth play during the day together, and they spend all day at the hospital, with one another.
If you look at a silkie chicken, you'll see that they're not like regular chickens. They've got these crazy feathers all over themselves. They kind of look like a rag mop. They were originally bred in China, and they actually have 5 toes on each foot, whereas normal chickens only have 4.
They both had really rough starts to their life. So I'm sure that they were looking for something security, and hopefully they found that in each other. They seem to really want to spend time together and be together, and when they're frightened, they look towards each other.
Back inside, Penny's feathers are getting a little ruffled.
Penny's really agitated today, and usually that means she's gonna lay an egg for us. 3 to 4 days a week, she'll start wandering around the reception area, and sometimes she'll stick her head in our filing system or wander under the desk. So we're hoping for one today.
Well, she hasn't stopped either. She's just going.
Hospital staff watches on as Penny struts around the reception area. Her loving buddy Rue keeps a watchful eye from his dog bed.
I think she is gonna lay an egg. All her clucking.
After much fussing around, Penny lays a little present right next to Rue.
Penny will lay eggs for us, and she often lays them here at the hospital. And even though we've provided nesting boxes in dark places, she will go out in the middle of the bed, or she'll go out in the middle of the floor and she'll just lay them. And just now she laid one right next to Rue in his bed.
You can tell by the way that Penny moves around the room that she's really relaxed in her environment, trying to find that perfect place to lay her egg. And when she lays her egg right next to Rue, it shows just how much she trusts him.
Even for bath time, the two-legged duo never leaves each other's side.
Penny and Rue are up for a bath. We don't bathe them very often, especially Penny, but occasionally she does need a little bit of beauty treatment. Penny is great for her bath. She's actually better behaved than Rue for her bath. She just kind of sits there and endures it, and she kind of just lets me do whatever I want.
Because they have those crazy feathers, you can't really see silkie chicken's eyes, but they're right in the same spot as any other chicken, on the side of their head. And that's normal for any prey species, because it allows them to see behind them and see if predators are sneaking up.
At the end of the day, it's time for this unusual pair to head back to the nest.
Bye, Alicia.
All right, guys. We're home. Rue and Penny have a lot to teach other people about, not going on appearances. Obviously, Rue doesn't have all his parts, and he's not perfect. He is handicapped, and he is different. And, of course, Penny doesn't care anything about that. And with Penny, she's very unusual looking. She's very different in her own regard. And of course, Rue doesn't care anything about that. So, they just kind of show people that you don't have to be perfect or the same or anything else to be loved. I mean, you can share love with anyone.
While it's lights out now for Rue and Penny, the bond these unlikely soulmates share will continue to inspire us all.
We see a lot of things here at the hospital, and I think we do believe that animals have the capacity to love. And with Penny and Rue, we see this emotional connection, and I do believe that they have the capacity to love one another.
Over 400 animals make their home at Nebraska's Lincoln Children's Zoo.
Get up here.
Taylor Daniels is one of the zookeepers who looks after them, and she wears a special accessory for the job.
It just looks like I'm wearing, not the most fashionable purse, but it actually serves a greater purpose. It holds something a lot more valuable than, my keys or anything like that.
it carries around her closest critter friend, Liv, a 9-month-old Tamere wallaby.
Liv is a Tamere wallaby joey that I have been hand-raising for the past 4.5 months. Liv mostly lives in a makeshift pouch that I wear around my neck, and what's supposed to replicate the exact warmth and darkness and safety that she would feel if she were in Mom's pouch.
Taylor's taken care of the zoo's other animals, but this relationship with Liv is different. Taylor is stepping in as Liv's surrogate mom.
Taylor nurtures her, Taylor hand feeds her, Taylor gives her real food, Taylor is her mother.
Hey, sleepyhead, wake up. Wake up.
There's a reason why this little bouncer needed Taylor to step in as mom. Zookeepers discovered Liv as a little lifeless bundle outside of her real mother's pouch. The baby wallaby had been abandoned on the floor of the wallaby exhibit and appeared lifeless. Zookeepers had to come up with a plan, or else Liv had little chance of making it. When zookeepers at Nebraska's Lincoln Children's Zoo found Liv, the baby wallaby, deserted on the floor of the wallaby exhibit, they immediately feared for the worst.
She was unresponsive, no apparent heartbeat, very cold, very hairless. And all of a sudden, as I was observing her, I got one big respiration. I thought, my gosh, she's alive. And as we put her on the hot water bottle, we saw her color come back to a nice, beautiful pink. And within 15 minutes, she was looking up at us like, hi guys, what's going on?
Tamere wallabies stay in the pouch for the first 9 months to keep their nearly furless bodies warm. At just over half that age, Liv couldn't survive on the outside. So the team tried to nestle her back in her mother's pouch.
The first couple hops she took, Liv fell right back out. Liv was just physically too big for her pouch. She kept falling out, and that's when we had to take it into our own hands.
It was up to zookeeper Taylor Daniels to nurse Liv back to health.
You know, I knew it was gonna be tough work, and I knew it was gonna be long hours, but just knowing that I would be helping save this animal and provide it the best care that I could so she could in turn live out a full life here at the zoo, that was really exciting.
Like any proud mother, Taylor's been there for Liv every hop of the way.
I really feel like a mom to her because I've been there for all of her first moments, just like a parent with their newborn, seeing them, you know, take their first steps. I saw Liv take her first hops, you know, seeing her eat her first piece of solid food. Just every moment like that has been great. You're fine. You're fine.
Today, Taylor and animal curator Randy Shear are helping reintroduce Liv to the rest of the wallaby mob.
I bring Liv to the wallaby exhibit every day to get exercise and start getting her acclimated to where she will end up living. Go play now. Get out there. Good girl. She's not quite sure about the other wallabies yet. I don't even think she realizes she's one of them, but she's definitely curious about them.
Yes, I know.
Right now, Liv only hops 3 to 4 feet. But when fully grown, Tamere wallabies jump as far as 8 feet in a single bound.
Interacting with other wallabies is something that's really important for Liv to do. Taylor's doing her a great service by letting her play with other wallabies, because right now, Liv thinks that Taylor is her mommy, and it's really important that she learns to be a wallaby.
Liv takes some big hops forward and gets close to other wallabies.
There you go.
Although Liv's birth mom is now at a different zoo, she always comes back to her adopted mom.
Is that scary? There you go. Okay, get cozy. Get cozy.
She's used to people. We've been the ones that she's been with. So when she sees people, or especially me in the pouch, you know, that's the safe zone, that's comfort.
The bond doesn't end with the workday. Just like a toddler, Liv can't be left alone overnight, so she's become Taylor's temporary roommate.
It's hard to wallaby-proof an apartment. She's a very curious girl, you know, always making sure it's vacuumed because she loves to eat anything too, making sure there's no cords on the floor. Hey, psst, come here.
After her in-home exercise, it's dinner time for this bouncing baby girl.
I am preparing Liv's formula for her PM feeding. When Liv was little, she only drank formula. When we first started hand raising her, it was up to 8 times a day, and now she's down to 2 feedings a day. I get every last drop.
For now, it's bedtime for little Liv, but not in Taylor's room.
I have Liv set up in the pack and play in my living room because this species of wallabies is actually nocturnal. So if she wants to sleep, she can sleep. And then also when I'm trying to sleep, I'm not getting woken up by her hopping in and out.
Okay, good night. I love you.
Despite the bond they've formed, Taylor knows the time is coming for Liv to join the wallaby mob.
We're used to spending, you know, every day, all day together. So when it's finally time for her to be a big girl and go with the other wallabies, I'll definitely be sad, but I know it's the best for her. It'll be a change, but it'll be a good change.
In the Sierra foothills of California, there's a gated community where the residents can graze to their heart's content. Here at Animal Place, more than 300 rescued farm animals are given the chance to live out their lives in total comfort.
Do you like to be groomed?
From cows and pigs to chickens and turkeys,
There's the spot.
this 600-acre humane habitat is the perfect place for some animal R&R.
We get the animals who have been confiscated from cruelty cases by shelters, animal control. Those are where most of our animals come from.
Funded entirely by donations, Animal Place was founded in 1989 with only a few dozen animals. While that number might now be in the hundreds, their quality of life has only improved. Among those lucky residents is a mixed breed goat named Mr. G. And his all-time best friend? A 1,000-pound donkey named Jellybean.
I've worked with animals all my life, and I really have never seen the type of bond that Mr. G and Jellybean share with each other.
When they sleep, they're together. They graze all day together. They sleep in the sun together. They spend the entire day together.
Despite their differences, these two formed a tight bond in a difficult situation.
Mr. G and Jellybean grew up in a dirt lot. They were owned by a woman who really couldn't care for them properly. They spent a decade together in this dirt lot, so they didn't spend a lot of time with humans or even other animals. So local authorities came in and confiscated Mr. G and Jellybean, and we at Animal Place were able to offer sanctuary to Mr. G because we're used to goats.
As soon as Mr. G arrived, staff members noticed something wasn't right.
We got Mr. G up here to our rescue ranch facility and got him into a nice clean stall with lots of food and immediately started to see something was wrong.
We were completely baffled by his behavior. Mr. G spent virtually all day lying down in the corner of his stall. He wouldn't eat, he would barely drink any water, and he wouldn't move from that one position.
Typically, goats are not picky eaters. If it's a plant, they're gonna try to eat it. So the fact that Mr. G did not eat at all for so long was really an indication that there was something deeper going on.
When veterinarians found nothing wrong with Mr. G, Margie and Sierra did a little digging.
We actually reached out to the person who had brought him up and asked if there was something maybe we were missing. And she told us that as she was loading Mr. G up for transport to our sanctuary, that Jellybean was screaming, just very angry, very frustrated, very scared that Mr. G was being taken away.
Mr. G wasn't sick. He was sad.
At this point, at 6 days of not eating, he was becoming lethargic and not having as much energy.
The team had to act fast, or Mr. G could face serious health problems.
Mr. G was clearly in mourning. He was grieving for his lost friend. We knew we had to take action.
Their plan? To reunite the two. But Jellybean was hundreds of miles away, and the clock was ticking for Mr. G, who continued to refuse food. Animal Place volunteer Jeff McCracken didn't waste any time.
So I hopped in a truck with a stock trailer and on my way to Southern California.
After a 14-hour round trip, Jeff returned with his precious cargo. Would this be the cure that Mr. G needed to end his downward spiral? Back at the Animal Place Sanctuary in the California Sierra foothills, Mr. G had not eaten in 6 days, and he had hardly moved. As his beloved donkey Jellybean arrived at the animal sanctuary, staff members watched on with the hope that Mr. G's depression would be lifted.
I arrived at the ranch where Mr. G was. His little nose was going like this. He was sniffing. He was starting to look up, and he saw Jellybean. And, you know, you could almost see on his face that, oh, my God, you know, look who's here.
The goat's depression had been cured.
I still was in disbelief. I knew that he missed his friend, but I really, truly thought that there was something else that was causing him not to want to eat.
Boy, I tell you, I am not one who's gets that emotional, but boy, I had a huge lump in my throat when I saw that.
As we can see, when Mr. G lifts his head, smelling the air, his little nostrils going, he can tell that Jellybean is on the property just from her scent. He springs up, he's filled with joy and energy, and his depression is lifted just because Jellybean is with him.
To share this incredible story, Animal Place put the heartwarming reunion online, never expecting what would happen next.
It just shot into the viral space after that, and it's gotten over 6 million views.
A lot of people felt such an emotional pull to this that they wanted to donate some money. We were able to get a fabulous new trailer from it. We're able to feed them for the next year, all based on the kindness of other people.
These best buddies picked up right where they left off.
Now that Jellybean and Mr. G have been reunited, I think they are in bliss. They have each other 24/7, and there's no risk that they're going to be separated again.
Certainly, had we known the depth of their bonds, we never would have separated them.
Jelly.
Day after day, their personalities emerge, proving that opposites can attract.
Mr. G is a relatively shy goat. Most goats are pretty gregarious, but Mr. G kind of prefers, you know, his solitude and his downtime. Jellybean has a very bold personality. She's pretty bossy, a little sassy. She definitely has an attitude, big personality.
Just to see those unique personalities come out has been really amazing, because it is a story about them as a couple and them bonding, but then it's also this nice story of them as individual animals and getting to have this chance at a second life.
After 10 years of isolation, Jellybean and Mr. G are still wary of humans.
At this point, the only way to really get close to Mr. G and Jellybean is with a big bowl of food.
The team at Animal Place tries every day to build their trust, although it will take time.
They're getting to know us and we're getting to know them. They are meeting new friends every day, making bonds with humans, which they have never had to do before. And I think that they know that we want them to stay together forever.
After all they've been through, Mr. G and Jellybean are content just to be together again.
They spend the day together in their little honeymoon suite, and they will be over there together for the rest of their life.
It's a new beginning for this unlikely animal friendship.
When people see Mr. G and Jellybean together, a goat and a donkey, I think it really inspires them, and it I think touches something in their heart. It's whimsical in a way, so they take joy from it, and then it's also just showing them that there's all these wonderful bonds and friendships other species have.
Just northeast of Baltimore, Maryland,
Who wants a hip and joint cookie?
is a quaint brick house where Shannon Apple and Kate Harris have a menagerie. 37 animals, all living under the same roof.
We have 3 dogs, a cat, 2 tortoises, and quite a few fish.
Jax is their 100-pound Bernese mountain dog. He's a gentle giant who's befriended everyone in the household.
We've had Jax for 2 years now. He's very easygoing, he's very laid back. Come on, Jackies, let's go wake Wally up. Come on.
Jax even has a small sidekick,
Hey, Wall.
a squirrel named Wally. It was a close call 2 years ago that brought this unlikely duo together.
A good friend saw Wally fall from the nest. He brought him into work the next day and knew Shannon and I were natural nurturers.
Oh, little fella. He was a tiny little pinky. I didn't even know he was a squirrel because he was so little, and he could have been a mouse or any type of rodent baby.
Squirrels don't open their eyes for the first 5 weeks, so Wally required around-the-clock care.
It is a lot of work to keep a squirrel alive. Shannon took him to work every single day, kept him in her desk, and would every 4 hours go heat up his formula, feed him. You set alarms to get up in the middle of the night to feed the squirrel. It's like a baby.
Hi, little guy.
They had no experience raising a baby squirrel and no idea if they could keep him alive long enough to set him free.
By the time he was probably capable of taking care of himself in the wild, it was already middle of winter, and you can't send him out in the middle of winter. So it was, well, maybe next spring.
The growing squirrel would have to coexist with his larger-than-life housemates through the rest of winter without any setbacks. Kate and Shannon waited until spring to release Wally, but the squirrel had other plans.
He just didn't want to go. He just would hang out on the deck, come back through with it when the dogs would come back through. He'd make his way back into his room, climb up in his bed, hang out there.
This temporary house guest became a permanent tenant, and the new roommates started to take an interest in one another.
Wally's not afraid of the dogs. He has seen them since the day he opened his eyes. They were just there.
I don't think any of the dogs knew what to do with him. They're looking at us like, is this food? Jax was very gentle with him from the get-go. He would just kind of scoot his paws out of the way and look at him and lick him once in a while, but he just naturally took to him.
Bernese mountain dogs are known for their sweet and gentle temperament, and I think that's a big part of what's going on here. But even with that said, I think Jax is a pretty special dog. When Wally came into the house, he was totally helpless, and Jax immediately wanted to take care of him.
A lot of the times we would put Wally right in Jax's fur, and he'd get all cuddled up, and Jax would just, look back, make sure he's all right, and go to sleep and do his thing.
Wally definitely surprised us with being tolerant of Jax also. I mean, you think about it from a squirrel's perspective, that's a lot of dog coming at your face when you're so teeny.
While Wally may be a cute playmate, he's a messy roommate.
Everything is a challenge when it comes to having a squirrel as a pet.
Stop it. Oh, come here. Where is he?
I thought he was with you. Come here, Will.
Oh, he's hiding.
They can be your friend, they can be your dog's friend, but they will ruin your home.
Sometimes it's like having a drunk toddler running around our house.
We go through probably 4 of these a year, as much as I dust this house.
In order to contain his chaotic nature, Kate and Shannon gave Wally his own space, complete with branches, buckets of dirt, toys, and beds.
When Wally got big enough to start roaming the house on his own, he kind of took over this room. This is mainly where he uses the bathroom by choice. I didn't train him. I didn't train Wally to do any of that. He loves this little thing. The sides have dirt on them because he'll come out from his dirt and just wipe his mouth off on this thing, but it's one of his favorite little pieces in here.
One of his favorite spots, and yes, there's a pecan.
Wally has turned the rest of the place into a nut house, literally.
Here's an almond. It looks like Wally hit a pecan up here. Oh, right here in the crack, the pistachio. He's got a nut stuck in the chair. Anywhere that he can find a spot, he thinks it'll be there when he comes back.
Just like you and I stock our pantry with food, squirrels have a strong instinct that's been maintained for millions of years to hide nuts for harder times. What's amazing is that they can actually remember where those nuts are months later.
Do you hide a nut up here?
Wally's favorite hiding place of all is somewhere Kate and Shannon never expected.
His favorite spot to hide nuts is right here in his best buddy. And there's a pecan. You're such a good boy. Jax and Wally's relationship is actually pretty simple. Wally hides his nuts in Jax because Jax is a great place to hide them. He's got a lot of good coverage, and he tolerates Wally hiding his nuts in him, so, that makes for good friends.
Clearly, Wally's not hurting for food, but the instinct to hide nuts is so deeply ingrained in him that he'll hide them anywhere, even in his best friend's fur.
The relationship between Jax and Wally is more like siblings. They can get along pretty well at times, and then at other times it is like Wally is the annoying little brother who just wants to play, and Jax wants to take a nap. Wally uses Jax as his personal playground. He jumps off his head, he jumps off of his body, he runs around him, uses him as a trampoline to get from one place to another.
What makes this relationship really unique is that most dogs don't play with squirrels. They hunt them.
Even when our dogs go outside, they chase squirrels. Even when Wally would be outside when he was younger, they wouldn't go after Wally, but another squirrel was in the yard, they'd chase it right up the tree. So it's like they look at Wally like, this is our brother.
The natural instinct for dogs, and in fact most predators, is to want to chase anything small and furry that runs. But the fact that Wally was raised in the house with these dogs helped them see him more as maybe a member of their pack or another family member than as a potential prey.
Despite their difference in size, Wally and Jax share a one-of-a-kind bond, turning what would normally be a predator and its prey into two friends that love to play.
Wally's the one dominating that relationship for sure. Jax is definitely one of the most laid-back dogs. Wally is almost 100% the exact opposite. He is rambunctious, he is destructive, he is energetic, and maybe that's why they fit so well together. Opposites do attract.
While Jax and Wally's friendship might defy nature, a man and his cat are conquering it. Salt Lake City, Utah. This beautiful part of the U.S. is a mecca for rock climbers like Craig Armstrong.
I do love to rock climb. It's my main hobby. Utah affords endless climbing opportunities. It's ridiculous. So it's a year-round activity here.
Craig's found a unique climbing buddy.
I would say our climbing styles complement each other. All right, Millie, let's go.
She's agile. She always lands on her feet. And best of all, she has 9 lives. Meet Millie, the climbing cat.
Good girl. I feel great about having a cat as a rock climbing partner. She's nonstop fun.
The adventurous duo have conquered many of Utah's peaks, from Little Wild Horse Canyon to Stansbury Island and Devil's Golf Ball.
Millie loves to seek high ground. She loves to climb rocks. She loves to climb trees. She loves to climb people, bookshelves. She's my little feline adventure partner. Millie is my first cat. My girlfriend and I went to the rescue center, and she jumped right up on my shoulders, so we pretty much knew right away she was going home with us. Millie loves to be around people. She's very curious, and she definitely likes to get on top of anything.
Craig's girlfriend, Julianne, noticed their bond from the start.
When Millie was little, Craig taught her to climb up the front of his body. So she still does that, and every morning she runs up to him, climbs up the front of him, and gets up on his shoulders and almost kind of curls around him. And that's truly when I see their bond the most.
From the very beginning, I would always call her up to get on top of my shoulders. So my shoulders kind of became her safe place. And anytime she's scared, she kind of seeks me and seeks that high ground on my shoulders as her place of safety.
Like most house cats, Millie has the run of Craig and Julianne's apartment.
This is Millie's main sleeping spot, but she sleeps all over the place. Sometimes I find her sleeping up here. She'll jump up here to get there. Sometimes I find her sprawled out in the tub as well. She likes to hang out in there. She used to sleep in this basket a lot when she was a little kitty, but now she jumps up here, and I'll find her sleeping up here sometimes.
Time for a power breakfast before today's adventure.
Millie!
It's important to load up before burning calories out on the mountain.
Evelyn!
The couple also adopted Evelyn, who's not quite as adventurous as her counterpart. Millie's climbing gear is minimal but essential.
Millie! Come on, Millie. Yeah, this is her leash. This is her harness. When I'm climbing, I have a harness attached to me, and she's attached to the harness with this. So she's essentially on belay. So if she falls, she only falls this far.
Craig used to just go on trips for himself and with his friends, but now he goes frequently with Millie, specifically for catting trips, which are trips with cats.
It's already unusual to see a house cat rock climbing, but what is so special about Millie is her self-confidence, and we have to give part of that credit to Craig. He knew to expose her to the environment, and now, even as an adult, she's up for adventure.
Julianne doesn't mind sharing his affection.
Craig and Millie have an especially strong relationship for a human and a cat companion. Craig has told me many times that if our house were on fire, he would grab Millie over myself.
Craig discovered Millie's passion for adventure naturally.
When you go rock climbing, there are always dogs at the crag, so I figured I will take my pet, so I'll just bring my cat. She just tried to get on top of every rock around us. So from there on in, I just started taking her on more and more trips. It's so normal for me to take her places and to be camping with her and to have her out in the woods and stuff, so I'd say we're just really, really good travel partners. Millie, look. Look, that's where we're going. There's the mountain. There's Mount Olympus.
Equipped with climbing gear and a tight bond, these unlikely thrill seekers are ready for anything. Craig and his cat Millie have climbed over 20 mountains together. Today, they're climbing close to their home in Salt Lake City, to a destination that looms thousands of feet above ground level.
I go away almost every weekend on climbing trips and take Millie with me. Come on. Millie, come on, this way. This way. Good girl. I think Millie might be more of an adrenaline junkie than I am at this point in my life.
Millie's climbing skills resemble those of her wild counterpart nearby.
Just like domestic cats, mountain lions are great climbers. They use their retractable claws and their really long tails for balance. And if you look at Millie, I think you can see a little bit of a mountain lion in her.
Despite Millie's innate advantage, Craig takes every precaution to protect his climbing partner.
Okay, we're going. When we're climbing, I feel connected to Millie's safety level and comfort level. That's the main thing I'm concerned about. I don't want her to overheat. I don't want her to get hurt. So I'm very connected to her energy level, so to speak, and how safe she is and how she's feeling. When we're doing really big climbs, I wear a harness and I attach her to it. So if she falls, she's on belay. She's attached to me and the rope catches her.
Cats have an innate, instinctual ability to land on their feet when they're falling or jumping from high surfaces. This is partially due to their knowledge of their body in space, but also because of the flexibility of their spines.
The solitary nature of cats makes the bond between these unlikely friends all the more extraordinary.
I rock climb with Millie just because it's really fun to take her to very crazy places where maybe no other cat has ever been. Okay, we're going. Come on, Millie. Up here. When I rock climbing, she just climbs right beside me. My goal is just for her to experience nature and to get on top of things, but I let her climb as much as she possibly can. I try to just let her do her own thing and see how high she can get. There are times where Millie can't do a certain move, so at those times I'll put her on my shoulders and just help her get to the top, because it's just too dangerous and too hard for her to summit.
The unconventional climbing duo tends to raise a few eyebrows on the wall.
When someone sees a guy climbing a rock face with a harness on and a cat attached to it, it's a ridiculous scene. So I understand that, but I'm having the time of my life. So it might be weird for them, but it's not weird for me at all.
These two share a love of the great outdoors, but a 10-pound climbing partner without thumbs does have a downside.
Millie's completely different as humans as a rock climbing partner. She can't belay me, she can't save me, but she's just as fun as any other partner.
With another climb under her collar, Millie's ready to call it a day.
All right, Millie, let's go. Good girl.
Now it's time to relax and unwind.
Come on. Let's get you out of this harness, Millie. You're free. Good girl. Millie is the most important thing in the world to me. I love her to death. I wish she could talk for 5 minutes of my lifetime. It'd be worth the world. She's changed my life for the better, for sure.